Chào quý vị.
New Cadillac, and I have to tell you a little secret. He had it stretched a little bit. This way he could be his own chauffeur. He wouldn't have to hire a chauffeur. He could drive it himself, or he could have somebody else, but he could also drive it himself. Did you ever hear that? This could be a new concept for a car. But I had a wonderful father, and he loved Cadillac, and I'm thrilled to be back in this beautiful state, and I'm honored to be the first sitting president to visit one of the most storied places in the history of American auto making, and that's the world-famous General Motors Proving Ground.
Tổng thống Trump đang rally ở cái GM
We just got back.
Proving
We
Ground.
watched some cars, and they are beautiful cars, but I was very also impressed with, that was the largest piece of asphalt I think I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of big asphalt, but I've never seen one that big. I said, you got to be kidding. But over 100 years, General Motors carved a 5.5-mile test track out of Michigan earth and built a crucible for American cars that would change the world. And that's what happened. You have changed the world. And maybe more importantly, you have made a comeback like very few companies. You are doing really well. And Mary and your whole group have done a fantastic job. They love...
Tổng thống khen GM đã xây dựng lại công ty trở lại rất là tốt sau cái khủng hoảng hồi cuối thập niên 2000.
Every model of the legendary Chevy Corvette. It bears the scars of the first auto safety test, and that was probably pretty tough. And ever since the presidency of the late, great Ronald Reagan, who in all fairness, who I liked, but he did allow our cars to disappear into Japan and other locations. We cannot do it. We love him. But on trade, Trump is much better. Much better. But this facility is proudly designed, built, and tested. The presidential limousine, affectionately known as the Beast. Have you heard of it?
Đây là nơi mà đã lắp ráp và cũng như là kiểm định test cái xe chở tổng thống, chiếc Cadillac One.
The entire leadership team, Mark, really great job. The whole leadership team, the job that you've done over the last number of years especially has been incredible, and it's a display of speed and skill, horsepower goes into these cars, and everyone's talking about General Motors, including me. That's why I'm here. And more importantly, thank you to the auto workers, the technicians, the mechanics, the welders, the engineers of General Motors, because there's no finer group of people. And it was workers like you who built this country. And now it's the men and women like you who are making it bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before. We are doing unbelievably well as a country. We're building more auto factories and more plants than at any time in the history of our country. And someday the fake news is going to be writing stories about it. They don't like to write those stories. That's why they call them the fake news. But for decades, the auto workers and manufacturers of this great state were sold out and betrayed by globalist politicians and corrupt special interests who let other countries steal your jobs, pillage your factories, and loot the crown jewels of American industry from Detroit and all over our country. They were ripping us off, not only in the auto business, but in many other businesses. Every president before me promised to stop it, but none of them did anything. They did nothing.
Đã lâu rồi, tầng lớp công nhân bị mất quyền lợi. Rất nhiều tổng thống đã hứa mà không làm được. Nhưng cuối cùng thì đã có tổng thống Trump tới để giải quyết công ăn việc làm cho họ.
You know, you had a leader. I don't know if he's still with you, Sean Fain or something. This guy was bad news.
Tổng thống đang lên án cái tay chủ tịch của nghiệp đoàn UAW, Sean Fain.
You would have, Mary, I hate to say it, you wouldn't have an auto industry right now if they got elected. You wouldn't have an auto industry. But I don't know what happened to the guy. Somebody said he got fired, but I can tell you, the people that count, those people love Trump. Because I've done more for you than your parents, okay? Your parents are good. I'm not going to knock your parents, but I have been better to you than your parents. That I can tell you.
Tao nói là với công nhân thì rất là yêu mến ông, Vì ông làm cho
Today
họ
I'm
còn nhiều
proud
hơn
to
cha
say
mẹ họ
that
làm
the
nữa.
auto industry is back and America is back and it's pulling Detroit and Michigan along with it. Our country is so successful, it's pulling it along, but you have some great representatives that are going to become governor, senator, congressman, women. But you have some great people. I'm going to mention them in a second because under Sleepy Joe Biden, hold it. What's better, Sleepy Joe Biden or Crooked Joe Biden? Let's go. Sleepy Joe Biden, Crooked Joe Biden.
Tổng thống vẫn test bà con có thích cái từ nào hơn, Biden ngu gật hay là Biden gian manh. Để nói về cái thâm hụt thương mại khủng khiếp dưới thời của Biden.
And if they were in there now, that number would be close to $2 trillion. The trade deficit in automobiles was more than $300 billion annually. That means outside countries and companies were coming in and just robbing us blind. And it was causing tremendous problems for your jobs. But now all of that is changing because I placed historic tariffs on foreign producers and manufacturers, including a 25% tariff on foreign automobiles, something that no other president had the courage to ever do.
Ông nói là ông đã mang lại cái giảm thâm hụt thương mại nhờ vào thuế quan và cũng như kêu gọi đầu tư nước ngoài vô Mỹ. Xong rồi có một thằng mình nó la ó gì đó thì bà con cổ gõ để át lại cái tiếng của nó.
We're running against communists. Now this is great. What's going on? But we're going to win very big. No, I didn't even hear the guy. I think I got it. You see what they want to do? You see what they want to do? They want to take your houses. They want to do things that nobody's ever even thought of before. They want to take your money. They want to raise your tax up to 80%. I gave you the biggest tax cut in the history of our country. So we'll keep it there.
Ông nói là mấy này chắc giống cộng sản quá. Lấy nhà rồi đã tăng thuế này kia, trong khi đó ông lại đem lại cái cắt giảm thuế lớn nhất.
They don't want police and they don't want prisons anymore. I think that's a great idea. Does everybody like that idea? No police. They want no police and they want no prisons.
Rồi không có nhà tù, không có
But I
cảnh
also
sát.
put a 25% tariff on all foreign trucks. So I called Mary about a year ago and I said, I hear that foreign trucks are killing us. She said, that's true. I said, congratulations. I'm going to put a 25% tariff on the foreign trucks. And you are doing a phenomenal business now with trucks. So they were killing us in trucks and now we're killing them. My policy is simple. If you make your truck or your car in a foreign country, you have to pay for the privilege of sending it into our market and making a lot of money. But if you build in a factory in Michigan or someplace in our country and make your automobiles or trucks right here in America, you pay zero taxes, zero tariff. You pay zero.
Nếu mà sản xuất ở nước ngoài mà bán ở Mỹ thì phải chịu thuế quan. Còn nếu như sản xuất ở Mỹ thì không phải đóng thuế quan.
As an example, Europe is being taken over by the Chinese cars. You know that, right? Mercedes-Benz is being absolutely decimated. BMW, good companies, decimated. Volkswagen, decimated. They don't do anything about it. We don't have, to the best of my knowledge, Mary, one Chinese car in the country. They have 100% tariff. And our automakers are doing, I think, business like you've never done before, right? Right? You're doing more business, better business, bigger business than you've ever done before.
Lâu rồi thì ngành công nghiệp của Mỹ lại đeo công ăn việc làm với Trung Quốc. Mà Trung Quốc thì họ lại đánh thuế quan lên xe bán từ nước ngoài vô họ tới 100%. Nên là vì vậy mới thúc đẩy cái ngành sản xuất xe hơi của Trung Quốc.
71% worldwide. One year ago, our country was dead, and now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're the hottest country. Everybody is respecting us. You know, they respect us again. They respect the United States. I think they respect us more than they've ever. We did this in a year and a half. In 4 long years of Sleepy Joe Biden and his crazy administration. They're communists. They were communists. That was the beginning. He wasn't, because he had no idea what the hell was happening. They said, Joe, let's go communist. He said, what is that exactly? They got less than $1 trillion. So think of it. In 4 years, they had investment of less than $1 trillion. 4 years, less than $1 trillion. In 1 year, my administration secured commitments of more than $19.2 trillion from all over the globe. Think of that.
Hôm nay so sánh là thời Biden là chưa được 1.000 tỷ đầu tư nước ngoài, còn bây giờ dưới thời của Tổng thống Trump thì đã là gần 19.000 tỷ rồi.
They didn't think of themselves as communists, but they were. But now you have down and out communists. I mean, these people are down and out. And remember, you go communist, nothing good happens. That's been proven for 1,000 years using different names. But right here in Michigan, General
Motors, cứ đòi đi theo
is
cộng sản
expanding
mà cái chủ nghĩa đó thì đã bao nhiêu lần đã được chứng minh là không có hiệu quả gì cả.
In Detroit to produce some of America's most iconic vehicles, including the Chevy, well, I hear it's good, Silverado, right? Silverado, really hot, right? Going to be hotter after today. The GMC Sierra, the world famous Hummer. I got to look at some of these. In fact, I said to Mary, how about sending me a couple? And one and only the Escalade. You know, we ordered, I think, 250 Escalades, right? We ordered 250 Escalades. That's so we look sharp in those cavalcades, you know. We look sharp in those Escalades. Our guys are very spoiled. They're very spoiled. They like the Escalade, so do I. They were great to deal with. General Motors, they're making literally 250 of them, and it was about time. In 2026, GM increased truck and SUV production by 20%, and in the past 2 years, the company's invested $9 billion in bringing factories home to the USA. They're coming back home because, frankly, when they build here, there's no tariff. It's really not complicated. A lot of people don't understand that. They say, oh, what does it mean? They have no idea. They don't have a clue. But Mary understood it. Her whole group understood it, and they're coming back home where they belong. So I just want to congratulate General Motors. That's why I'm here today. I'm very proud of General Motors. For years, you watch companies move production from America down to Mexico. Mexico. I love the way there's a very nice president of Mexico. You know that. Very nice, and she speaks beautifully, and she calls it Mexico. So I said to a group the other day, and we will stop all business going to Mexico. And they didn't know what the hell I was talking. It didn't come out as well, Sean. It didn't come out as well. This is a great gentleman, heads up transportation. He's also world championship tree climber, 5-time champion tree climber. Can you imagine? I only hire these crazy people to do things like that. He was the lumberjack. He was the world champion going up a tree 100 feet, right? That's high. I saw an old picture of you doing it. I said,
Tổng thống đang nói về ông Bộ trưởng Giao thông Vận tải Tran. Ông là vô địch leo cây. Không có mấy cái chương trình ở Mỹ quý vị, nó có thi thố cho mấy người mà ở làm nghệ nghệ thợ mộc rồi này kia đốn rừng á, tiều phu á, có mấy cái chương trình đó luôn á, lớn lắm.
That's pretty good. But down in Mexico, and they're coming back, and production's moving from Mexico, and companies are actually moving production from Mexico back to America. Before they left, they went the other way. Now they're all coming back. Toyota, Hyundai, and others are relocating production back to the US. Ford is investing $3 billion to build parts of its pickup truck in central Michigan. All these things I told you. But only Brian. Where's Brian? Come here. Get up here, Brian, will you please? He's the only guy that believed me. But boy, did he believe me. I wanted to just hop over. Come on. Don't worry about it, Secret Service. He's okay. Come on up here, Brian. See the way he can do that? Look at that. He evaded. I'm sure they're thrilled. Come here. Say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, we can thank this gentleman right here for all these jobs coming back, and I hear it all the time from all my connections at all the different auto plants around the Metro Detroit area. Jobs are coming back to America. You know, Kamala Harris was running against this guy when he ran for re-election. She wanted to get rid of the internal combustion engine, and
Quý vị
crazy
like giúp
Sean
giùm Trần Michael
Fain
nha.
endorsed her. So we've got to change the mindset. We've got to build, if they want to sell in our market, they got to build it in our market. And that's what this guy told them. So thank you, Mr. President. It's because of you. You saved our domestic auto industry. Thank you.
Ông đó lên ca ngợi Tổng thống Trump là nhờ cái thuế quan nên là đã cứu được ngành công nghiệp xe của Michigan. Công ăn việc làm có nhiều hơn.
And I think I produced, Brian, would you say I produced even more than I said, right? Even more. Yeah, exceeded expectations. We like that. Thank you, Brian. He's a great guy, and he's got a group of followers that are unbelievable. Where are they? Oh, yeah, there they are. He's got a great group of people. But for decades, we were told that it was totally impossible to bring back American manufacturing. Obama would say it. Remember Barack Hussein Obama? He was so bad for the auto industry. I don't know, you know. Honestly, I don't know how you vote for Democrats because they are so bad for the industry. But it turned out that all you really needed to get him back was a new president, somebody that understood business, understood what it was all about. I've been complaining about it for many years. On day one, I ended Biden's insane electric vehicle mandate that would have crushed the U.S. auto industry forever, would have never come back. Remember that? Everybody was supposed to have an electric car within, 15 minutes. And I don't want to say this in front of Mary because she'll change your mind, but it takes far fewer people to build an electric car. That doesn't mean they work better, but it takes. And if you want an electric car, they make electric cars too. But if you want to buy a combustion, if you want to buy anything you want, they make. We don't want to do that stuff. But right now, we've been right on that bet. I said, no, it's not going to happen that way. I terminated Biden's disastrous cafe fuel standards. You know what that is? That was a short road to bankruptcy for every single car company in this country and a total disaster that would have killed the internal combustion engine. They wanted it dead within 5 years. As long as I'm president, that will never happen. But it's
Tổng thống Trump
going
đã
in the opposite
bỏ hết
direction.
những cái chính sách tai hại về ngành công nghiệp xe hơi thời Biden, đặc biệt là trong cái mảng ép phải mua và sản xuất xe điện.
China doesn't. We have 1,000 years. We have more gasoline. We have more oil. Now, when you add Venezuela to it, we really have more oil.
Và cái năng lượng của Mỹ thì vô cùng dồi dào. Bây giờ lại có thêm nguồn từ Venezuela nữa.
Take millions and millions of barrels of oil, but they're doing well and we're doing well. One day, a lot of people were against that war. We don't want the Venezuela. What are you doing? What are you doing? After we won in about 48 minutes approximately. They said, oh, that was a good move. Well, the same thing's happening in Iran. People just don't see it. We have destroyed their Navy. We've destroyed their Air Force. We've destroyed their leadership. We've destroyed their anti-aircraft weaponry. Their drones are being made at a rate of about 7%. We destroyed most of their drone manufacturing capability, their missile manufacturing capability. And right now they're talking to us about making a deal. But if we didn't do it tough, there would be no talk. For 47 years, which is really 50 because people have been using 47 years for 3 years at least. But for 47 to 50 years, they have been talking, and all they do is tap everyone along. They were the bully of the Middle East, and they were the bully of us. And Obama came along and gave them tens of billions of dollars.
Tổng thống đang nói về việc là Obama đã nuôi cái chế độ Iran như thế nào, đưa tiền cho nó như thế nào. 1.7 tỷ Mỹ Kim tiền tươi thóc thật.
No, you can't bribe them. You got to beat them, and we're beating the hell out of them. But we'll see how it turns out. Right now, they have very friendly negotiations going on. And by the way, how good is our Navy with a blockade? Not one boat gets in. We have a blockade. They'd love us to, please, we don't want the blockade anymore. They're saying, please, please, no blockade. And I approved the single largest deregulatory action in American history, repealing what is known as the endangerment finding, which will save American families an average of almost $3,000 on new cars, SUVs, and trucks. What a difference. And today I'm giving all American car companies the right to build what are known as tiny cars. You know what that is?
Và bây giờ thì ông còn cho các công ty sản xuất xe là có thể sản xuất cái loại xe siêu nhỏ, tiny car.
Secretary of Transportation has just cleared it. I was with him on the plane. I said, Sean, did you clear that? No, sir, not yet. I want it done now. Oh, it's done. He knows what. He's very smart. He's a very smart guy. No, but you're all cleared, Sean? So your company, Mary, if you want, I mean, you have the choice. It's a tiny little, beautiful little car. I'm not sure I want to get hit by one of your Silverados, okay, or one of your Cadillacs, but you'll make them as safe as possible, right? You put a little cocoon around them. See, I would have been a wonderful automobile designer. But you have the right to do it, and they sell, inexpensively. They're actually beautiful. I don't know if I'm going to be using one. I'm not sure if Secret Service would love me driving around in one, but there's a tremendous market for it, I think. It really is.
Bắt đầu GM họ đã bán các cái loại xe siêu
nhỏ rồi. And thanks to our Republican majorities in Congress, we also made interest on auto loans fully tax deductible, but only if the car is made in America. If it's not made in America.
Nhắc lại cái One Big Beautiful Bill là nếu như mình mướn xe sản xuất tại Mỹ thì cái tiền lời mỗi tháng có thể khai thuế được.
And I apologize for the air conditioning, but this room was not built for thousands of people. This room was built for a few people making cars, not for thousands of people. And it is a little warm up here, but I love that because every time I make a speech, I lose weight. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful way to lose weight.
Đọc đấy trong cái sân khấu này nó hơi nực. Không sao, mỗi lần tổng thống phát biểu gì đó thì ông giảm cân được tại đổ mồ hôi.
And your 401ks are up by $32,000 and more in just a year. And one statistic that I say, because the fake news, the reason they're fake news, they're terrible people in many cases, not in all cases. You have some professionals, but they refuse to say there are more Americans working today in the United States of America than at any time in history. How about that? That's, to me, that's a stat that's hard to beat. And it was just announced that inflation is dropping at the fastest rate in more than 6 years. We're dropping it. I inherited this mess. I inherited an open border where 25 million people came in. Many of these people were criminals, murderers, people from jails, people from mental institutions. I inherited that. We've got a lot of them out, and we're getting a lot of them out. We have 11,888 are murderers, many of whom, they say more than 50% of whom killed more than one person. We don't want them in this country. They allowed them to come in through the stupid open border. They came in like water. You've seen it. And right now, it was just announced, again, this is now the 15th month in a row, 0 people have come through our border illegally. 0.
Về cái vấn đề là biên giới thì tổng thống đã siết chặt biên giới và không có bất kỳ dân lậu nào lọt vô được cả.
But it all started, I won the election. We won in a landslide, by the way, and won this state so big. This is always a hard state. I don't know why it's hard to win, but it seems to be for Republicans, but it probably won't be anymore. We have great candidates. But it's really amazing. They always try and blame me for high prices. I have my first news conference. I win. I have a news conference like a day later. And I say, any questions? Why are prices so high? You have to understand, I just got there. They say eggs. I remember eggs. Eggs were like 4 or 5 times higher than they were a few years ago. You couldn't get eggs. They wanted me to use plastic eggs for the Easter egg hunt because they were unable to get eggs. And I said, we'll take care of it. We got it taken care of quickly. Now eggs are much lower than they were when we first started. And that's true with everything else. And you'll see how true it's going to be after we get rid of the nuclear threat of Iran, which will be very quickly. But I had nothing to do with it. You know, they have this term. So here I am. I'm one day in office, and the fake news goes, affordability, affordability. I said, what's affordability? What's that all about? Prices are too high. I said, we're here for less than 24 hours. But we've brought down prices last.
Tổng thống kể lại chuyện lúc mà ông mới trở lại đó, thì tụi báo lố nó đi nói là mặt hàng giá cả gì cao quá, mà cái đó của thời Biden tự nhiên đổ hết lên đầu ông. Xong ông đã làm cho mọi thứ giảm giá xuống, thì bây giờ tụi nó không nói gì nữa. Và ưu tiên của ông là những cái về thuế má, về đầu tư để cho bà con có thể đem tiền về nhiều hơn. Và đặc biệt với vấn đề Iran thì không để cho Iran có được vũ khí hạt nhân.
Because in my first term, we had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We got hit with COVID at the end, but we did a great job in that. Operation Warp Speed and the whole thing. We did a great job. Didn't get credit, but that's okay. But we had the greatest economy in the history of the country. And we're blowing it away this time. We're blowing it away. You're going to see the results very soon. I'm a little bit upset because in 2.5 years, you may have a different president. May. And that president will be saying how great the economy is doing. Look at all the jobs that he produced. We have more factories being built than at any time in our country's history. They're all going to be opening now and soon. And I got some guy or woman who is going to take credit for that. Will you please remember that I did it, okay? I did.
Tao nói là bây giờ đó đầu tư rồi công ăn việc làm quá trời luôn. Nhưng mà cái người kế nhiệm ông thì không biết là ai thì cũng sẽ được hưởng lợi, và ông chỉ sợ là họ cướp công của ông thôi. Nên ông nói là ba con làm ơn nhớ dùm, những cái này là công của ông.
But we're not going to let that happen. Our great, big, beautiful bill gave us no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors, right? That's our big deal. And the overtime you're working, and I don't know much, but I know you're making a lot of cars, more than you've ever made before. I assume, are they getting a little overtime, Mary? She doesn't want to say it. She is. I know you are. No tax on that overtime. Think of the no tax on tips in Nevada. I went and a young lady came over, a beautiful waitress. She was a waitress and very beautiful, but I'm not allowed to say that politically. Because if you call somebody beautiful, that's usually the end of your political career. But she happened to be beautiful. And I say, what's going on? Oh, sir, I'm getting killed with tips. Sir, there should be no tax on tips. I say, what? I'm sitting down with a group of people, very boring group. We're all bored. At my hotel in Las Vegas, and she comes up and she says, sir, there should be no tax on tips. I say it one more time. And I went outside and I spoke to the fake news that follow me all over the world, looking for me to make one little mistake. If I make one little mistake, if I mispronounce a word, which doesn't happen often, if I fell, they're waiting. They would love to. Because I knock. You know, you can't fall every single time you come up on a dais like Biden did. Oh, if I slipped even a little bit, it would be headlines all over the world. So
Ông nói là tụi bọn báo lố nó rất là tọc mạch, đi nên canh ông từng chút một vậy đó. Ông lỡ có gì mà khoảnh khắc chút xíu thôi nó cũng làm lớn chuyện lên. Ví dụ như đôi khi ông nhắm mắt lại đó, nó cũng làm là gì ông ngủ gật. Trong khi đó Biden nó ngủ bao nhiêu luôn á, thì có thể là do Biden ông ngủ luôn rồi, cho nên là tụi nó cũng không thèm đưa tin nữa.
That's being broken, all these records that are coming out, not only in your business, we're leading in AI, we're beating China in AI. Nobody expected that. We're building more plants than anybody in the world. And frankly, the businesses are all moving. You know, many of these businesses, they left here and they went to foreign countries. They went to Germany. They went to Mexico and Canada. They went to Japan. They went to South Korea, car businesses, a lot of businesses. And now they're coming back home where they belong. And according to a report released just last week, the great big beautiful bill saved more than 170,000 Michigan jobs. You saw that. Think of that. If you took 170,000 people off of your tax-paying payrolls, think of how many people that is, filling a big stadium up 3 times. But remember, every single Democrat, it's a new word that I use, Democrat, I just exchange the E for it works out quite nicely, thank you. But the Democrats, they want open borders, they want men playing in women's sport, they want gender.
Và ông đang nhắc những cái chính sách tệ hại của đảng Dân Chủ. Đặc biệt là biên giới mở banh nè, rồi muốn chuyển giới tràn lan, con gái thi đấu trong mấy môn thể thao của con trai nè, nên là một số đứa bình luận trên đây nó thích mấy đó lắm. Đặc biệt là đi bầu thì nó không thích là có cái chứng minh là công dân. Lý do mà tụi nó không muốn là tại vì tụi nó muốn ăn gian thôi.
It's only the politicians because they could never get elected. If that ever gets approved, they will never get elected again. But every single Democrat in Congress voted against our massive tax cuts for working families. All of the things, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, all of these things they voted against. They just voted against. They voted against voter ID. They voted in favor of the transgender mutilization of your children, in favor of men playing in women's sports. I've looked at men playing in women's sports. It's very unfair. I had one of the top NFL football players standing next to a wonderful female athlete, and they were playing a game of football. If you can believe this whole thing, this game did not work out very well. This was not a game that she will ever want to play again, I will tell you. The whole thing is crazy. There's something wrong. These people are crazy, and we can't let them get into office and ruin our country. We can't do it.
Nhiệm vụ của đại chúng là không thể nào cho cái lũ này nó nắm quyền và hủy hoại đất nước này được.
They're voting for open borders. The Green New Scam are their side. Remember the Green New Scam? Everything had to be green. The world is going to collapse. It's going to be gone. 15 years ago, they were saying we only had 12 years left, but we're still here. But they're siding with the radical left communists taking over the party. They want, in other words, the normal socialists who can destroy a country too. They're not going fast enough. Do you remember, like in one of my State of the Union speech, I said, we will never be a socialist country. But I was right. We're going to be a communist country. That's what they want. They skipped socialism. Can you believe it?
Khi ông từng nói Mỹ không phải là một nước xã hội chủ nghĩa thì tụi TDS nên là ok, lên thẳng luôn, nước cộng sản luôn.
Because they're going to promise all sorts of things. In 1 year, the country will be absolutely bankrupt. You'll live in squalor. You'll live in fear. You won't have police. You won't have firemen. You won't have anybody. You're going to be... It's a disaster. Even the thought of it is a disaster. And we have the hottest country in the world. We don't want to have it, and we have to be strong about it. We can't be nice. You know, a lot of the Republicans are nice. We're a very nice party. We shouldn't be so nice, to be honest with you. But we can't let them get their claws into this incredible... They call it an experiment. I don't think it's any longer an experiment. This has been going on for a long time. We have good years, bad years. We're having the single greatest year we've ever had as a country. We're not going to let these people destroy it.
Và tôi thường hay nói đảng Cộng Hòa đó thì cứ chơi đẹp, mình không thể cứ chơi đẹp hoài được, và không nên để cho tụi này nó nắm quyền được.
And it's even better to know that you have somebody that can read a speech if he wants to. The other guy couldn't even read a speech. But I'm just thinking about it. This is maybe going to make news because I've never said it. I'm just thinking about now. When they take something over, it's always dirty. The sidewalks are dirty. The people are, I hate to say this, not clean, okay? The curbs are loaded with you know what? The smell is terrible. I mean, I see it happening to cities. Blue cities are all blue. They're all blue. We don't have problems with the Republican-run cities, I mean, for the most part. But they're dirty. I said to somebody about a certain city, I don't want to say the name of it, but it's run by the radical left. I said, how is it doing? Because I love it. And they said, it's filthy dirty. It's so dirty. They've never seen it like that. It's so filthy dirty. And I just thought of it. Nobody ever says that. You know, I'm sort of a clean freak. I like clean. Do you ever see Washington, D.C.? Do you see Washington? What happened? Washington, D.C., it was filthy. Graffiti all over the place. We fixed up 72 monuments and fountains, and we've done an unbelievable.
Khi mà đảng Dân Chủ á, nắm quyền ở bất cứ đâu á, thì nó cũng đều là xấu xí, hư thối hết. Và ví dụ như ông đã chủ trì cái công cuộc cải tạo thủ đô DC, nó đã trở nên đẹp hơn, trong lành hơn, mới hơn và thu hút khách du lịch tới nhiều hơn.
Where are you from? Michigan. Where's my restaurateur? He was one of the great. Where's Mark? Mark, you're right. How'd you get such a good seat? He's a great restaurateur, but everything you have is clean. But you know, it's true. And I'm just saying, they take over. Everything becomes disgusting and dirty. It's dirty and filthy and grimy. It's not clean anymore. Look at Washington, D.C., what I've done in a short period of time, working with the Department of Interior, Doug Burgum, and the whole group. We have done some job. We've taken graffiti-filled statues all over the city, and monuments and waterfalls, everything, the beautiful reflecting pond where we get, I mean, we did some job. Somebody comes along and starts cutting it with a knife. They're sick. It's in the hospital now, but it's going to get better very soon. It's almost ready to open. We could have kept it that way for a while, but I didn't want to do that. I want to have it fixed perfectly. But these people are very terrible. But think how beautiful Washington, D.C. is. But the most important thing is we have very little crime. And there's a statistic that's incredible. 2% of the people create 91% of the crime.
Ông nói về việc cắt giảm tội phạm ở thủ đô DC, và ông nói rằng là cái rất là thú vị, 2% dân số ở DC tạo ra 98% tội phạm. Tức là những kẻ đã phạm rất là nhiều tội hoặc là phạm tội nhiều lần.
And it's going to get only better. It's going to get all new grass. The parks are getting all new grass. I have a man who's a fantastic man, one of the biggest grass growers. I know everybody. I know grass growers, but he's actually a very rich guy. He wants to fix up the parks, all brand new grass. We're going to do a job. He donated the grass for the White House. We're building a heliport, and we're building a drone port, and we're building a great ballroom and a military facility as part of it. And it's incredible. And people cannot believe how it looks. Washington, D.C., think of it, is now a really safe city, and it's so beautiful again, and people are proud of it. It's our capital. They have to be proud of it. It was a crime-ridden mess.
Cái này khán giả mà người ta ở nước ngoài ta tới ta coi World Cup á, cái này Trâm Anh cô nói cá nhân thôi nha. Người ta đi thăm DC, người ta cũng nói DC đẹp hơn nhiều so với lần trước họ tới. Cái này tụi TDS nó không có muốn nghe đâu. Kể cả một số người TDS họ ra họ cũng phải thừa nhận rằng là cái hồ nước của quý vị là nó đẹp hơn hồi đó luôn. Sao mà họ còn hô là gì? I hate it. Nó đẹp hơn nên tôi ghét. Tại sao tại ông Trump làm? TDS nó làm vậy.
And they had the safest Mardi Gras they've ever had. And in Memphis, Tennessee, the governor called and the mayor called, the Democrat mayor called. They need help. And Memphis was very, very dangerous. Companies were
Rồi tổng thống nói cái chỗ tiếp theo là thành phố Memphis của tiểu bang Tennessee.
And now crime there is down 77% and it's getting better.
Tội phạm đã giảm 77%.
And if they do that in New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, we would take care of it so quickly. But we have to get called. I want them to call us.
Và các thành phố khác thì nên gọi cho liên bang để xin giúp đỡ thì họ sẽ tới họ làm ngay.
But we're pleased to be joined today by some of the incredible patriots fighting for Michigan workers, including representatives, a friend of mine, she's unbelievable, Lisa McLean. Stand up, Lisa. Great. She's great. She is great. And she's tough, too, I want to tell you. I'm not going to say she comes in a small body, but she comes with one house. She comes with fire and brimstone, right, Lisa? And we love Lisa, respected by everybody. Tim Wahlberg. Tim, great. 18 years he's been doing it, and everybody respects you a lot. Thank you, Tim, very much. Appreciate it. Another congressman who's doing really good. He's going to have a tough race. You got to help him. Tom Barrett. He's here someplace. Where's Tom? Tom? Come on up, you three. You come up. Lisa, come on up. And John James, come up. You have to win, John James. You have to win.
Tổng thống đang nhắc tên một số các dân biểu của tiểu bang Michigan.
I also want to thank Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy, Michigan House Speaker Matt Hall, Army National Guard Captain Mike Bouchard. Where's your father, Mike? Where's your father? Where's Mike? I just met your father. He's the best looking police. Where's Mike? You want to come up? Come up here. Come here. Your father's so proud of you. He's standing and he had more medals than anybody I've ever seen. He's saying, my son is doing good, sir. I said, he is doing good. Navy veteran, Amir Hassan. He's a congressional candidate. We got to get elected. He's good. Thank you, Amir. And Amir comes from a great General Motors family, a long line of General Motors and former congressman. So here's a man who's running for the Senate. I happen to think he won last time, okay? He's a great guy, and he's respected all over Washington. He's one of the best candidates we have anywhere. He's smart, he's tough, he's fair. His name is Mike Rogers, and he will be a great senator. Mike, come on up. Come on. I'll let a couple of them say a couple of words. I'll be right back. Is that okay? Come on up here, Mike. Say a couple of words.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. Thanks for gracing your presence here at
Dạ
the
là
General
ông
Motors
cựu
facility
dân biểu
and
Mike
bringing
Rogers
jobs
đang
back.
tranh
Yeah,
cử
you
vào
bet.
Thượng viện Liên bang.
Imagine if, Mr. President, you have a senator that cares about much about manufacturing, especially in Michigan, than you do. That's a change we absolutely need. And when I get back there, Mr. President, I promise you this. I will work with you to protect our families, protect our freedoms, protect our factories, protect our finances. And when I get back there, Mr. President, if you haven't gotten it done, we're going to pass the SAVE Act. Save America. God bless you.
John, say a few words, John.
Well, again, thank you, Mr. President, for coming back to Michigan, where you've won 3 times. We very much appreciate your leadership. And as governor of the state of Michigan, we're going to be matching those Trump accounts. We're going to be taking care of our children. We're going to be matching those.
Ông John James đang tranh
We
cử
have a
làm thống đốc
president
của
who keeps
Michigan.
his promises. We have a president who looked at a situation and he said, you're going to have very fast planes in Macomb County. You know what he did? In the very first 100 days, the president of the United States, President Donald J. Trump, delivered F-15EX to Selfridge Air National Guard Base. The president has always been looking out for Michigan jobs. The status quo doesn't work for Michigan. The President Trump is pushing back. And as a result, President Trump signed my bill to protect our automotive industry against the harmful California EV mandates. And as a result, our jobs are coming back to Michigan. But most importantly, the president, because he's the best deal maker the planet has ever known, President Donald Trump, has got $19 trillion of investment back in the United States of America. But because of the failed policies of Gretchen Whitmer, a lot of that investment is not coming back here. We're working with you, Mr. President. We're going to make sure that we have an environment where we can bring that investment back to the state of Michigan to create jobs right here for the best auto workers in the world. Thank you so much for your leadership, Mr. President. God bless you. We have your back.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for coming back to Michigan, and thank you for putting our men and women who build things first and foremost in the American economy. Thank you for being here today with the men and women that I have the privilege of representing in Congress to tell them and show them just how important Michigan is on the map. The hard work of the people here put America on wheels, puts our economy on overdrive, and provides livelihoods for families across our country, especially right here in Michigan. Manufacturing is our largest industry. Our president understands that. He's stepping up every single day to make sure that we bring more manufacturing jobs back to America, back here to Michigan, and I'm proud to stand with you today, sir, in recognition of that, and thank you so much for coming to Michigan again today.
Talk about the American dream. Born and raised in Flint, Michigan, the birthplace of General Motors.
Đây là ông Amir Hassan đang tranh cử
Son
vào
of
Quốc
a
hội
father, a
ở Đề
grandfather, a
Phám của
grandmother,
Michigan.
a aunt, an uncle that all work for General Motors. Son of an educator. Protecting America, getting back to the fundamentals and the foundation that made us great in the beginning. That's what we're doing this cycle. The contrast is clear. The time is now. If you love America, make noise. If you believe in first responders, make some noise. If you back our military, make some noise. And if you're proud to be a conservative,
USA, let's go, baby. We are putting this country back on the map because we have a leader who stands up for us. Mr. President, thank you for coming to Michigan, but I also have to say thank you for defending our military and putting us in a position to succeed. This time last year, I was in Iraq. During the 12-day war, you put our military in a position to succeed because you gave the troops what we needed to survive. So my friends and I are home, sir, because you put us first. You put Michigan first as well. It took 47 years to stand up and say lunatics can't have nuclear weapons. It also took decades to reshore jobs. Reshoring jobs wasn't a thing that we talked about before President Trump came back. Now jobs are coming back to Michigan because we have leaders to stand up for us. We need to win this election in November so we can keep growing. Thank you, Mr. President. Let's go, Michigan.
I didn't bring my box, so I apologize. But
Đây là
take a
bà
moment,
dân
take
biểu
a
Lisa
moment
McClain.
and
Bà này
look
là nhân vật số 3
around.
của
Look at
Đảng
how
Cộng hòa ở
many
Hạ viện.
people are filling this manufacturing facility. And why is that? That is because we love this country. And I'm going to share with you, if you love this country, you have got to get out there and make some noise. You have got to get out there and vote. You have got to get out there and tell your friends, your neighbors, anybody who will listen, that this is an election between common sense and communist crazy. And the leader of our party, President Donald J. Trump, isn't resting on his laurels. Promises made, promises kept. He told you he was going to secure the border. What did he do? He secured the border. He told you he was going to make his tax cuts permanent. And what did he do? He made your tax cuts permanent. The last thing we need to do is make sure we pass that Save America Act. And we will do that because we will secure our elections to make sure that this country continues to live in a democracy, to continue to be a republic, because there is nobody that loves this country greater than the man standing behind me. And that's our president, Donald J. Trump.
I never want to go behind Lisa, that's for sure. But as dean of the Michigan delegation, you can see why I'm proud of this delegation and the ones that we're going to bring to this delegation, and even one we're going to bring to finally be an ally over on the other side of the House, that little body over in the Senate, a guy we can talk to who understands America, who supports this president, that is eminently supportable. And we say that out there today. I'm also chair of the Education and Workforce Committee. We have a president who understands workforce. That's why he's here with all of us. He understands education. That is not indoctrination for communist crazy. And that's what we're seeing today. So let me say this to you as chair of the Education Workforce Committee. We're here today trying to educate you, to educate others, to get out and work, to get this team in place so the final 2 years of this president, maybe final 2 years of this president, will be so memorable that we won't need to worry about the future. Let's get out and work as a workforce for freedom.
Nãy giờ là một số các đại biểu và các dân biểu, một số chính trị gia họ lên họ phát biểu rồi, bây giờ họ xuống nhường lại sân khấu cho Tổng thống Trump.
Thank you very much. What a group.
Xin chào quý vị.
Thank you very much. That's a great group. We got to get them elected. Also with us is the mayor of Hamtramck, Amir Ghalib. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. And Mark, thank you very much for being here. Mark Zarkin, a great guy. And a man who's been with me from the very beginning. Again, I have to do because this guy has been like, he got it a long time ago. Brian, thank you very much, Brian. Thank you. Thank you very much. Especially, he has been right from he got it right from day one, you know? So we don't forget that. 18 months ago, we inherited a catastrophe from the Biden and from the radical left Democrats. They created the worst inflation in 48 years, wide open borders with millions and millions of people from mental institutions, insane asylums, the world's worst prisons pouring into our country from all over the world they came. They came from South America, they came from the Congo, they came from places from all over the world. We had transgender for everybody, men playing in women's sports, crime ravaging our cities, and the whole world was laughing at us as a stupid nation. They called us a stupid nation. But they're not laughing anymore. America is respected again. I think like we've never been respected before. You saw I went to the G20, I went to the G7, I went wherever we go, they're looking at us as the real leader again. For a long time that hadn't taken place. Under our leadership, we're making the largest ever investment in the United States Armed Forces. And right here in Michigan, I got 21 new F-15EX Eagle 2s for self-repair.
Tổng thống có nhắc về cái khác biệt giữa cái chính sách của bên Biden và của ông, đặc biệt là ở Michigan này ông đầu tư rất là nhiều, đem lại công ăn việc làm, và đặc biệt là những cái chiếc F, những cái chiếc tiêm kích là ông đã đem về cho Michigan ở cái căn cứ đó. Trong cô không nhớ rõ tên, nhưng mà cái đó ông làm với lại bà thống đốc của Michigan đó. Thì quý vị nhớ là lúc mà bà vô trong Bạch Ốc là bà phải lấy hồ sơ bà che cái mặt bà lại đó, là tại vì bà không muốn cho cái tụi tả nó thấy là bà làm việc với Tổng thống Trump. Và ông đang nhắc lại tội ác của chế độ Iran.
But we've already paid for the Venezuela operation, as I said, and likewise we're winning big time with the Islamic Republic of Iran, and we're ensuring that they never have a nuclear weapon. When somebody comes up and says, why are we doing this? Just say, because we cannot let them have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. That's all you have to say. There's nothing else you have to say. If you understood the power of the nuclear weapons, you'd understand exactly what I was saying.
Và ông nhắc lại cái nguyên tắc cốt lõi, đó là Iran không được có vũ khí hạt nhân.
But we quickly turned it into the most secure border in the history of our country by far. And in the past 14 months, a number that's not even believable, but it is what it is. It's published every month. A historic record of 0 illegal aliens have been admitted into the United States.
Không có di dân lậu nào lọt được vô.
And now, as you've been reading, crime is plummeting nationwide. Last year, we achieved the largest drop in the murder rate ever recorded to the lowest level in 125 years, 1900. That's before my father. Bring up my father. That's before my father was born. 125 years, lowest murder rate. And that's despite the fact that we have people in this country that shouldn't be here. That's despite that. But a lot of them are being brought out very rapidly. Under my most favored nation policy on drug prices, we're delivering the largest prescription drug price cuts in the history of our country.
Ông nói về cái việc là giảm giá thuốc dựa trên cái quy tắc tối huệ quốc để bắt các hãng dược phẩm phải hạ giá thuốc, các thuốc nhập khẩu này kia cũng phải được giảm xuống luôn.
drugs, prescription drugs, and now we're the lowest price in the world. So you think that was, I won't bore you with the way I did it, but no other president was able to do it. I'm not sure they even tried, but all of you have to go out and go to trumprx.gov, trumprx.gov, and you're going to find that you're going to buy whatever you're looking for at a tiny fraction of what you were paying. To stop the massive theft of taxpayer dollars, we ended Medicaid for illegal immigrants, and we launched the war on fraud, led by our great Vice President, J.D. Vance. It's having a tremendous, we're finding unbelievable levels of fraud. Minnesota, that governor is so crooked. Ilhan Omar with her brother, so crooked. But it's all under very serious investigation. We're finding billions of dollars, billions. In just 18 months, we've turned this country completely around, and it's still, we're gonna do still better, but we have a turn. We're hot. Jobs are up. Inflation is down. Our border is secure. Factories are opening at record levels. Investment is booming. Michigan is thriving. America is winning like never before. And again, Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. With the help of our Republican majorities in Congress, we will crush violent crime to the lowest levels ever, impose harsh new penalties for dangerous repeat offenders. They are very bad. Crack down on Marxist prosecutors, and we will end no cash bail, which really got the crime started more than any other single event. No cash bail. You kill somebody and you walk out. We will pass the Great Health Care Plan. That's what it's called, the Great Health Care Plan, to stop all payments to big insurance companies and give the money directly to you, the people, so that they can buy their own health care, which will be much less expensive and be a much better health care. Very simple. And the Democrats are fighting us on that one, too. They're fighting us as hard as you can fight because, you know what? They happen to be owned by the insurance companies. The insurance companies receive billions and billions of dollars a year. They own the Democrats. And the Democrats, they don't want to debate it. They just want to fight it. And we want to give the money directly to the people. And you go out and you buy your own health care. You'll get great health care and have lots of money left over.
Ông nhắc về việc là ông vẫn đang
And we
cố
will
gắng
continue to
để
remove dangerous criminals, drug dealers, human traffickers,
làm cho
and
cái
child predators from our country.
tiền mà mua bảo hiểm y tế đó là được trực tiếp tới tay của bà con. Và cũng như là tiếp tục làm những cái nghị trình hiện tại.
Some of the people they have to deal with, if you saw the toughness and the craziness and the the roughest people really in the world, they were led into our country by Biden and the group.
Ví dụ như là bảo đảm biên giới an toàn.
I don't even know that he knew people were coming in. I don't think they told him. But they were coming into our country, and they are the roughest people in the world. Remember, they used to say, "Oh, foreign people don't commit crime. They make our criminals look like babies." It's the only thing good about them. They make our
đặc biệt là những cái di dân mà tới đây để phạm tội.
You don't get rough. Tran, the roughest in the world. They cut off people's fingers so they don't make a phone call. You're going to make a phone call. I'd like to call the police. Boom, their fingers are gone.
Và cũng như là bảo vệ cảnh sát, vì cảnh sát là những người đối đầu với tội phạm.
We can never let that happen again. Could never let it happen. Single most difficult thing that I've had to work with. And finally, we will pass the Save America Act.
Và cũng như thúc đẩy cho cái Save America Act.
Call your senators and put pressure on them.
Và kêu gọi bà con gọi điện thoại thúc giục các thượng nghị sĩ hãy thông qua nó.
Need a photo, be nice. So okay, good. You know, they want to. If they did ID, which they don't want to do, they don't want a photo. Why don't they want it? You know, at the Democrat National Convention, they had an identification card that was bigger than most of the people's chests. It was hung on a chain with a picture and every fact about this person you can imagine. But for voting, our most sacred thing, you don't need, they say, voter ID. So we want voter photo ID. And we want all voters showing proof of a thing called citizenship. Isn't that nice? You read recently in New Jersey where tremendous numbers of people were found out that they were on the voter rolls totally illegally, and that's all over the country. That's nothing compared to what's going on in California and Minnesota and so many other states. And hopefully there will be no mail-in ballots. Mail-in ballots are inherently corrupt, except for illness, disability, military deployment, or travel. If you're in the military, you're far away, absolutely. If you have to go someplace, absolutely. But mail-in ballots have proven to be,
ví dụ như là những cái yêu cầu về chứng minh quốc tịch và hạn chế cái phiếu qua đường bưu điện.
They pass through too many hands. When you go to a voter booth, even me, I went to vote. Sir, may I please see your identification? Sir, I'm so embarrassed. I know you're Trump. Please, do you have some identification? I don't want to lose my job. I whipped out. I was lucky. I had some kind of a card on my head, and I didn't even know, but I gave it. Thank you, sir. So I'm so embarrassed. She kept apologizing. I said, don't apologize. You're doing your job. That's what you're supposed to be doing. It was so beautiful. And we will enshrine in permanent law, where we had a big Supreme Court victory the other day, but not complete. No men in women's sports.
Như ngăn chặn chuyện
and no transgender surgery
thi đấu thể thao
and
với
the
con gái
mutilization of your children. They
và cái
mutilize
việc
your children.
chuyển giới tràn lan
So,
cho
ladies
con
and
nít.
gentlemen of Michigan, the golden age of America is upon us. We're in the golden age. This is an age like no other. And the men and women of the American auto industry and General Motors are leading the way. And I'm so proud of it because, as Brian and others in the room know, I fought for this for years. I was here 25 years ago. I got Man of the Year. By the way, the press questioned that, and then they found out it was true, actually. And I made a speech, and all I talked about was, why are you letting them steal your auto industry? I said, your auto industry is being stolen. It's going to Germany and Mexico and Japan and South Korea and Canada. Why are you letting it happen? They stole over 50%. It's all coming back. Who would think it's all coming back? It's all coming back right now. More plants being built than at any time in the history of our country. With your help and patriots all across this magnificent land, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Michigan. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thưa quý vị, vừa rồi là rally của Tổng thống Trump ở xưởng của hãng GM. Thì trước đó ông có tới để coi một số cái dây chuyền sản xuất các xe của GM, có một cuộc họp với lãnh đạo và cũng như là coi một cái gọi là cái track, một cái như là xe họ biểu diễn đó quý vị. Rồi sau đó là ông rally. Thì theo Trần Michael thấy này là để hỗ trợ cho một số các ứng cử viên tranh cử ngày mai là bầu cử sơ bộ ở Michigan, nên là Tổng thống Trump tới để mà hỗ trợ cho họ. Mà thật sự ra thì Trần Michael thấy là cái không khí á, thì họ chỉ dành cho Tổng thống Trump thôi. Còn những người còn lại thì Trần Michael thấy là các khán giả đó có vẻ họ cũng không có hào hứng lắm. Cái này thì cũng dễ hiểu, tại vì Michigan thì không kiếm được một người dân cử nào MAGA cả. Từ hai thượng nghị sĩ thì là dân chủ rồi, nhưng mà những người mà dân biểu còn lại cũng chả ai MAGA cả. Cái người đỡ nhất thì có lẽ là bà Lisa McClain, nhưng mà bà cũng thành tích bỏ phiếu của bà cũng xui theo cái tụi lãnh đạo ở trên Hạ viện thôi. Nên là theo rằng mấy cô thấy họ không có tạo ra được một cái năng lượng, họ không có tạo ra được một cái sự hào hứng cho cử tri. Kể cả lúc mà Tổng thống Trump mời họ lên phát biểu với cái ông John James thì ông cũng nhảy cái tưng trên đó, nhưng mà mấy cô thấy đứng đằng sau họ cũng không có vẻ hào hứng với ổng. Thì mình cũng hiểu là không phải dân cử nào họ cũng có cái sức hút như là Tổng thống Trump, thế đó mình hiểu. Nhưng mà ngoài ra thì anh không bằng được Tổng thống ở khỏi đó thì anh cũng phải bù lại bằng cái thành tích bỏ phiếu hay là cái thành tích đấu tranh của anh trên nghị trường, đúng không? Họ cũng không có luôn, họ cũng không có luôn. Mà cô nói thật sự nha, cái kiểu nói mà như Tổng thống Trump đó, ông nói về cái chuyện là cộng sản này kia họ áp đặt những cái điều hành kinh tế này kia. Ông nói thì có khi cử tri họ nghe, nhưng mà chưa chắc gì mấy người dân cử nói cử tri họ nghe đâu. Tại vì sao? Họ nói một cách rất là sâu rộng, họ nói một cách rất là không cho chuyện đó không nữa, mà là những cái đây cái chuyện này Tổng thống Trump mới đem ra thôi. Tất cả những chuyện khác cũng vậy, các dân cử nói thao thao bất tuyệt, người dân chưa chắc gì người ta đã thấm vô đầu đâu. Nghe rất là sâu rộng. Và đặc biệt đó là gì? Người ta nghe nói như vậy mà bắt đầu người dân người ta để ý hơn, người ta nhìn vô cái thành tích bỏ phiếu, người ta sẽ thấy là mấy ông bà không có bỏ phiếu đúng những gì mấy ông bà nói. Đâm ra làm sao? Người ta không có cái tinh thần, người ta không có sự hào hứng, người ta không có vui vẻ khi mà thấy cái người dân cử đó lên. Trừ khi nào Tổng thống Trump nói thì họ mới là hứng thú hơn mà thôi. Đó là đây là vấn đề mà đảng Cộng Hòa sẽ phải tìm cách làm sao đó để giải quyết. Tại vì 2026 này Tổng thống Trump không có tên trên lá phiếu, và cái vấn đề lớn nhất của đảng Cộng Hòa đó là gì? Enthusiasm. Enthusiasm là gì? Tức là cái sự phấn khích, cái sự hào hứng đi bầu. Hiện tại đảng Cộng Hòa đang thua đảng Dân Chủ ở khoảng đó. Phải nói thật là như vậy. Họ có thể nhiều tiền hơn, họ đang có quỹ tranh cử lớn hơn, mạnh hơn, đúng không? Nhưng mà cái chuyện rồi ghi danh bầu cử vậy đó, nhiều người ghi danh đảng Cộng Hòa hơn này kia. Nhưng bây giờ làm sao để lôi họ tới phòng phiếu thì đảng Cộng Hòa đang thua đảng Dân Chủ. Và đảng Cộng Hòa cũng phải nhờ Tổng thống Trump giúp tiếp. Dạ rồi, xin được cảm ơn quý vị đã có sự ủng hộ cho chương trình livestream này. Thì Trần Michael chỉ dịch những ý chính thôi, vì Trần Michael chưa có nói được 100% như cũ. Nói được như vậy là mừng lắm rồi. Xin quý vị tiếp tục ủng hộ và quý vị nhấn like, share, subscribe và tham gia membership kênh YouTube của Trần Michael. Xin kính chào và cảm ơn quý vị.